Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the studio and happy Friday. How's everybody doing today? Let's adjust a few things here. That's pretty good. You know what? This color, I don't think I even need this one at all. So I'm going to move it over here. And the one I do need is right here. It was close by. I have spent the morning mixing up some glazes and yesterday too, and prepping all the pieces that I have here. We have mugs ready to glaze. They have the thin down glaze in the medallion covered with wax. And I've got a fresh bucket of glaze here, and I'm going to mix it up, and I'm actually going to measure the weight of this to see if I need to add any more water to it. I'm going to measure the specific gravity of this, because this is my gray glaze, which is going to be over there. I don't think I'm going to have enough room over there for everything. I'm going to have to bring some of these over here. But that's all right. Kiba, you want to come up here and help? Come on. There you go. Oh, dear. Sorry, buddy. You're all right. You're all right. There you go. I don't know. He almost knocked that one over. Almost. He's looking at me like I did something wrong. Maybe Kiba's not going to come help. But I've got a fresh bucket of gray glaze, and it's in my gray bucket. Right, yeah, me too. I don't what I guess this is not like maybe he just like these are somewhat empty. Maybe he just overdid it a little bit. It just could not handle his weight. Whew. So I'm awake now. I'm awake now. So this is the gray, the storm cloud gray, as we call it. And I want to measure a full cup of this, if I can. See how much that is. There we go. There's 8 ounces. What is this? Brittany, thank you for the follow. Welcome, everybody. I need this to weigh like 14.8 ounces. It's 14.6. That ain't too far off. I think I'm going to be okay with that. I think I'm okay with that. This is good. This one's going to be good. If that had been significantly off, I would have had to either add more water or try to take some away, which takes a little bit longer, but you can do. If you want to remove water from a glaze, you just have to let it sit for a couple of days and let everything settle, and then kind of siphon some of the water off the top. So when I make those, couldn't you put the powder in, then put the right amount of water in, and mark it on the side of the bucket so next time you put the same amount in? You would think that in theory that would work, but most of the time I don't start with a completely fresh, clean bucket. There's sometimes stuff on the sides. I would rather do it by measuring by weight. Like I normally on average I add 45 cups of water to the glazes. Some glazes, and keep in mind, I'm working with opulence glazes. They suggest, I think it is it's like 50 or 60 cups of water. They suggest a lot more water in the glazes. So I'm fiddling with the glazes myself, and I'm altering each of them with the water to look how I want them to look. I like them a little bit thicker than they suggest doing them. So technically, when I get instructions for mixing these glazes to look how they're supposed to look, they tell me exactly how much water to add. And I probably should do that, but I'm mixing these a little bit thicker, so I'm making sure that have my checks and balances on how much I can do. And now, since I've made this and measured it, I know to add 40 cups of water to the gray to get it to be where I want it to be. Hey, Dino and Santana, good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. I've been working on a glaze. I've already got some pieces glazed back here. We have three main colors I'm working with today. We're going to do the yellow, which is what I've already done, the gray, which is what I have here, and then the blue, the denim blue. Oh, and you can't see it, but over here we found color coordinating buckets. Daniel did, and so he bought me a bunch of multicolored buckets, so that now when I'm mixing my glazes fresh, I'm putting them in a color coordinated bucket. So I've got a yellow bucket over here for my yellow glaze. I've got a gray one for my gray glaze. I got a blue one for the blue. There's even a pink one over here when I mix up the pink, which I'll have to do sometime soon. Because sometimes it's just too hard to write words on the side of a bucket. Is it different for each color? Or do I have to do 45 for each of them? Most of them I do 45 cups. There's a couple like the green. I do I think only like 35 or 36 cups. Like the green, I like it to be a lot thicker. Um, but for the others, 45 is yeah, is a good average. Hey Ray, good afternoon. Yeah, happy Halloween Eve. Now, a lot of these are going to be solid colors. There's very few things I'm going to double dip here, but a couple of them will be this gray. I've got some that I'm going to make the stormy skies. Mixed up some glazes this morning. This was one of them. I did the yellow, and then I did some sea spray. So I've done some weightlifting. Because these buckets full of glaze, they're about like 45 pounds. I think we determined 45 pounds. Because it's 25 pounds of dry ingredients and then 40 cups of water, 45 cups of water, depending on the piece. Hey. What are you doing? helping. She's supervising. There she is. But mixing the glazes, in this case, since these were all opulence glazes, it meant soaking the dry ingredients in a bucket. I did that overnight, though you don't really have to do that. I've put the ingredients in a dry bucket, immediately mixed it and sieved it, and it's fine. Just makes it a little bit easier to mix and sieve if you let things soak for a while. I did that, and then ran everything through, it's either an 80 or 100 mesh sieve, I forget which, just to make sure all the particles are broken up. That way you don't have chunks in the glaze. So in the end, I had like stuff splattered everywhere. Got a delivery of boxes in the middle of everything, and I didn't realize until afterwards that I had like glaze like splattered all over my face. That's not that unusual though. Hey Kira, good afternoon. No one likes the chunky glaze. It's kind of like a crunchy donut. I don't appreciate a crunchy donut. Maybe some people want a little bit of a crunch. Hey Dylan, good afternoon. Yeah, this last glaze I did had a lot of gray in it, but it was the gray before I mixed up this batch, and it got a little bit thick. I've got to do some major work on my kiln shelves. We had some pieces run, and like I don't think I brought it over here. We had some pieces run bad. But for the most part though, I think I only had one that was just a complete loss. Um, I had a lot of pieces that dripped but then didn't stick to the kiln shelf because of the kiln wash, so I've got to apply some more kiln wash and scrape off some chunky bits. Your mug is still getting a tan in Jamaica. Ooh. It will be a well-traveled mug. I don't I don't think it's supposed to be in Jamaica. But I don't know what to do about it. It's priority mail. I mean, it's not like me calling and complaining is going to do anything, but maybe it just got detoured. Maybe it got put in the wrong box or something, got put on the wrong truck or boat. It is a distribution center. Okay, maybe it should then. I'm usually seeing it going from like Tampa or something like that. Then suddenly it's in Canada. So the ones that I'm doing right now with the Sherlock silhouette, these are going to be solid gray. This is Trix. This is our solid black little girl. She's supervising me today. She heard us talking about her. She's inspecting the mugs. Like as the glaze dries on the mugs, there's like there's air escaping because it's porous. The glaze is soaking into the mug, and that's what lets it stick a little bit. The water soaks into the clay, and then the glaze just rests on the surface. So you can hear it soaking in a little bit and like kind of like fizzes a little bit. It makes a tiny bit of a sound, and so it's why she keeps staring at the mugs because they're making just a tiny little bit of sound, and she can't figure it out. She's like, I wish you would just sit in a chair so we can cuddle. She has discovered the joys of being a lap cat. We've kept her inside this week. We'll probably keep her inside next week too, just because it's the time of year for black cats to be kept inside. If you know, I think if the Humane Society doesn't adopt out black cats in October, then I'll keep her inside just to make sure nothing happens to her. So she usually goes outside, and she's a good hunter, and she just likes to sit under the shrubs, basically, and take a nap. But since she's been forcibly cooped up inside, she's discovered the joys of being a lap cat. So now when anybody sits down, she comes and stalks them, stalks us. Yeah, at least she's not randomly sitting in the middle of the floor obstructing where you need to be. You know, she does that every once in a while. I think all cats do that from time to time. She's not obstructing right now, but she's not exactly in my way, but I'm sure she will be before too long. Hey, Nickel. Probably have these over here, and I can probably fit the rest of the gray ones over there because I do have all the blue ones that'll need to be over here. So for like the past week of lazing, I've been trying. I've got so many things to process that I've been trying to break up my glazes into different colors. So like this one, I'm only getting out 3 colors. I have the yellow, the gray now, and the blue. And I think it really is helping be more efficient doing all these multiples. This one is more mugs than some of the others have been. Less bowls. But I've got some bowls cooling down in the bisque. They're at around 500 degrees right now. Hugs and cuddles for the kitty. She is temperamental. Sometimes you get a purr when you give her a hug, and sometimes you get bit. So roll the dice to see which one you get. you come sit on all the junk? It can't be comfy. It can't be comfy. Snow! Snow is falling. Wow. I know the bottom is supposed to drop out tonight. This is probably the last day I'll be wearing short sleeves, or at least without having a hoodie on. Wow, where are y'all at? Yeah, we've been getting rain the last couple of days, and the cold front that's been pushing it through. It's with the latest hurricane too. We're supposed to be getting some cooler weather. 6 inches today on it in Massachusetts. Are you excited about the snow, or are you like, "Oh, so it begins?" That's how I would be. Your plants. You know what? I read that as pants, and I'm like, well, I guess you got a new pair of pants that you keep outside. Plants. You're a skier and a snowboarder, so yeah, you're like the more the merrier. It's like when we went to Yellowstone. We went there in like February, and it was just it was they almost were running out of snow, but they rely on the snow so much because until the park opens, that's the only way they can get in and out of the parks, and they had do snowmobiling tours and stuff, and the snow was melting too early. So that's like the first time I experienced people like wanting it to snow more because they needed snow to be able to get around safely. The prank where people take wet clothes and put them outside in the cold. You're totally doing it to yourself. You like the first few snows and that's it. Yeah. Yeah, this year we're not going to have anywhere to go to. Usually it snows the week we are about to leave for California. Let me take a break here. We got somebody in the front of the studio. Well, Trix, you stayed back here this whole time. Had somebody trying to sell a kiln, so if anybody is in need of a glass kiln, I took their information and we'll see if I know anybody. I guess you just stayed back here till I came back. Yeah, we were talking about snow, and usually we get our one snow of the year in January or February when we're trying to like back a trailer up our hill or something, when or move heavy objects and then everything gets slick. So it's usually like the worst time ever. So this year it probably won't snow any since we don't have anywhere to be. Any plans for tomorrow? We are going to have some friends over for a small game day for Daniel's birthday, since his birthday is on Halloween. And we're going to just put out our candy cauldron outside and let people come trick or treat as they wish. Code Blue, thank you for the cheers. Is anybody else doing trick or treating or has already done trick or treating? If anybody's in actual in person school, it's the day to wear your costume to school. It's perfect for Friday. My niece got one of those big blow up dinosaur costumes. They're doing trick or treating this year. You'll go biking and stare at people. Ooh, you made candy-filled pumpkin dice bags for your family. You never get trick-or-treaters, so that was your handing out candy. Yeah, we live in a neighborhood where, like, if people are going to come trick or treating, they're going to come trick or treat there. And we did put out all of our Halloween decorations, so we're just going to put out our candy at the bottom of the hill and hope people only take a little bit, right? Maybe only fill it up a little bit at a time. You got two kids yesterday? Really? Yeah, you live next to the schools? Weird. Yeah, it depends on year to year. Like this is the first year in several years we've actually both been home for Halloween, but before that it would like they if it wasn't raining then there would usually be something going on the downtown square. So the first couple of years we had the shop here, we handed out candy here instead of at the house cuz on the years they would do something, city sponsored in the downtown area, we wouldn't have trick-or-treaters at home. You get less than 10 all night long, really? See, that's where like I grew up at. Like, yeah, we on our street there weren't many people. It was a lot of older people, but being me and my brother were like the two kids that lived on the streets. Everybody had candy because they wanted trick or treaters, right? They wanted to hand out candy, so we would go to every house and make out like bandits because they would give us like all the candy they had because they knew they weren't going to see anybody else. So now I've got to decide which candy I'm going to give put in the candy cauldron for the kids and which ones we're going to keep at the house to munch on ourselves. Because usually we have the candy cauldron right there on the table with us, and we just take it to the door to let the kids get something. Now we're going to have it sitting outside, and I'm getting greedy. Like I don't want them to take all my Reese peanut butter cups. You've been tempted to be that house, the good house with all the candy bars. See, if kids were smart, they'd go to some of these areas where there weren't very many people. Yeah, you're not doing anything. We didn't expect there to be actual trick or treating, but we put our decorations up anyway because we were both actually home for Halloween this year. And but since we have our decorations up, we're sure kids are going to come to the door since we have decorations out. So even if we turn off lights, so wanting to put something out there to stop them from coming to the door. Isn't that how trick or treating started anyway? Bribe the kids to not come molest your house. She's trying to figure out what I'm doing. You don't even hand out candy anymore since you don't have any, but, well, you don't hand out candy to people. You still buy the candy. You just get to eat it all yourself. Your mayor didn't ban it, but he requested that people didn't, yeah. They're not holding any of the, like, city-sponsored, like, trunk or treats. But I think they set times for trick-or-treating because they knew people would go out and do it anyway, so they wanted to at least have a cutoff time. But I think even in the official guidelines, they requested that people don't that you don't go up to people's doors. That if people are trick or treating, they'll have candy out and on the porch. Yeah, I want to say maybe 5 to 8. It starts at 5 o'clock. That's what I remember. Buy something you like in case there's leftovers. Oh yeah, you got to plan accordingly. The Britt, that's probably the smarter thing to do. Buy something you don't really like, so you won't just eat it all at once. But then there's the day after Halloween. That's cheap candy day. Though usually by the time I get there, the only thing that's left is candy corn. Yep, Reese's all the way, or Kit Kats. Whoa, Pink, you got injured doing laundry, where the lid to your washer fell on it. That's not it's not light, you know. I'm surprised it didn't cut you with like the latch or something. Remember, I gave myself a black eye with my pug mill because it has a lever that goes up. An arm that closes the lid when you load it up, and you prop it up against the wall. But I didn't put it up all the way one time, and it came back and hit me in the head. I did. I had a black eye for a little while, but thankfully it wasn't so bad that my glasses covered it up. So nobody could see it. But oh, that hurt. I have tried the peanut butter Snickers, and they're pretty good. They're not gonna take the place of a Reese peanut butter cup. You know what I like is the Reese's Fast Break. If I if I'm having a craving for a Reese peanut butter something or other, the Fast Break is good. It's just like peanut butter and the nougat and the chocolate or something. Maybe some caramel in there too. Who knows what it is? It's not crunchy. Almond Joys, yes. Mounds or Almond Joys. See, I love coconut. Coconut is my favorite thing ever. I know people either love coconut or they hate it. There's not much middle ground. It is a good replacement for a standard Snickers. The sticks that are like the wafers. I forget what they're called, but I like the little Debbie versions of those peanut butter wafers. Daniel tried a Butterfinger because I got a bag of candy that had Butterfingers in it because that's his favorite, and he thinks that either the Butterfinger recipe has changed or his taste buds have changed. He's been um, dieting for on and off all year long, but he's quit. He hasn't eaten a lot of sweets, and so that was the first really super sugary thing he'd had in a long time, and he's like either it just doesn't taste as good as it used to, or it's changed, or his tastes have changed. Nutter butter's okay. Not really peanut buttery enough for me. They changed Whoppers. I've never been a huge fan of Whoppers. Peanut butter lovers Halloween candy. Ooh. I saw caramel lovers this year. You know what I didn't see is always look for like the white chocolate, candy mix because I like the white chocolate Kit Kats and Reese peanut butter cups, but I didn't see that this year. So we won't have any white chocolate Kit Kats to give out. It's like I'll never forget one of our first years at our house. We had trick or treaters, and we, you never know if you're going to get trick or treaters, and we live up on a hill, so kids have to be pretty determined to walk up to our front door, and so we usually make it worth their while and hand out great big handfuls of candy and stuff. And I'll never forget like this one girl was just like so excited to come up and she got I gave her some Kit Kats. She got a white Kit Kat and she was just so excited. She was yelling to everybody in the car, like, I got a white Kit Kat. And like I always remember that kid. It's like I feel your excitement. I understand. M&M's peanut butter, but that would be good. There was a new flavor this year. What was it? I saw like crunchy chocolate, like Rice Krispie inside, like chocolate Rice Krispie on the inside. What was the other flavor, seasonal flavor this year? It had Reese's, peanut butter Snickers, maybe Butterfinger. What else has peanut butter in it? All right, there's that. I need to get the masking tape. These are going to be polka dots. There it is. So these are yarn bowls, and they're going to be gray on the inside and have black polka dots on the outside. So to glaze the inside, I'm going to put masking tape over the yarn bowl hook and kind of plug up all the holes. Glaze the inside, and then come back later and do polka dots on the outside. White chocolate sugar cookie. So we'll slosh this around a little bit and try to pour this out evenly and not drip it anywhere. Looks like I got a few fingerprints here and there. Like white chocolate sugar cookie M&Ms or like white chocolate sugar cookie with M&M pieces in them? I feel like it was something unusual though. Maybe that's what it was and I just forgot. Is that the chocolate one with the crispy rice center? I don't know if they still make the pretzel M&Ms, but those things were good. See, I can talk knowledgeably about candy. I know my candies. White chocolate sugar cookie flavored shell. Interesting. I guess they could say this. That's better than saying, "Hey, we repackaged all those like candy corn flavored M&Ms that nobody wanted last year. Now we're calling them sugar cookie." All right, so we've got gray on the inside and around the yarn bowl hook, and then it'll be black polka dots on the outside. And we'll do 3 of these. She's just waiting patiently. Trying to figure out what I'm doing. Julie, good. I'm glad everything got there okay. Trying to pay attention to what I've got here because right now the gray isn't very dark, so I'm trying to make sure I don't miss any little fingerprint or little like spot of glaze because it'll show up as a really dark, gray spot or smudge if I don't clean it up now. But I think I got this one. One more. Whoops. That didn't do good. I started smearing the glaze around. Has anybody read the latest Harry Dresden book? No, I can't even think of the name of it. Peace Talks, and then the last one is Battlegrounds. Battlegrounds. The 2020 mugs, are you talking about the ones that were like 2020 do not recommend? No, they are not on our website. You can purchase them through Completely Kentucky. They already have some. I'd rather you purchase them through them. I'm not going to carry them on my website. I don't know if they're putting everything on their website or how they're selling them. But they are Completely Kentucky in Frankfort, Kentucky. All right, so that's the gray for now. I will have to go back and touch up like the tongue marks that I had. I'll do that with a paintbrush later on, but I want to go ahead and get a layer of the blue on these other guys. Now, which bucket is the denim blue? Could it be the blue one? It might be. And you know what? I think these buckets might be a tad bit shorter. Maybe they're shorter and a little bit wider than just the regular Lowe's buckets. Yeah, that's the denim blue. Because they actually fit underneath the table. Now, I don't have as much of this one, but I think I have plenty to get all this done. All right, first I want to dip this one because this is going to be denim and white. It says bistitchual when you knit, crochet, sew, and do all the crafts. And then I've got it dipped mostly in the blue, and then I'll come back and overlap the white on top. Now I've got several of these that are police box mugs that are going to be solid denim and then have the denim on the police box. So what I've done here is I've put wax around the edges and on the parts I want to stay white. And I'm going to dip this all in the blue to fill in those gaps. But before I do that, since we've got some little, like some really tiny details right there, I'm going to brush some of those on here and make sure I don't have any air bubbles there. Make sure I don't have any areas that aren't going to have any glaze on them. Make sure I get into the little nooks and crannies. And then we'll dip it. And that way we'll have a nice even layer on the police box. And I managed to miss a spot right there. There we go. We have a police box mug. We have police box mugs, we have Ravenclaw, and then we have some blue Star Trek mugs in this category. Whoops. So I should be able to get this kiln load done tonight, since most of it is just like a single dip. I've got to layer a few of the gray ones, but this shouldn't take all that long. And then, like I said, I've got to do some doctoring on my poor kiln shelves. Put some more kiln wash on them. Might bring them over here to do that, but usually I keep the kiln wash over there with the kilns and keep it completely separate from anything in this section, because um, one of the horror stories I heard early on in my career was that someone accidentally like glazed their kiln shelves with glaze instead of kiln wash. Because kiln wash is supposed to keep is like a release agent to keep things from sticking. Someone accidentally glazed their shelves because they had mislabeled the buckets, and so they're like, I had the prettiest blue shelves you've ever seen. And so I don't let the kiln wash anywhere near this side of the building. There's a poor pumpkin on the bottom shelf back there. Yes, he's got a crack in it. Hey, Paul. Happy early Halloween. We've actually got to like decide what we're doing for tomorrow. We were so actually maybe today it's going on, or maybe it's tomorrow and Sunday. The Virtue Wool Fiber Festival, Virtue WOOL Fiber Festival, does a little thing every month, and for October they're doing it this weekend. It's on their Facebook page, and they'll feature for every hour they'll feature a different artist on a Facebook Live, and we've participated in almost all of them. And but this time, like our time slot was on Sunday, and then we got moved to Saturday, which tomorrow's Daniel's birthday. But we're supposed to be on at 11 o'clock in the morning, so we may have an early morning stream tomorrow. We may do that. Yeah, I guess today is All Hallows Eve Eve. Oh, Julie, really? That's how you found us? Well, thanks for hanging around. This will be the first time, really, in several months that I will be making like party food. For tomorrow, we're gonna like grill out. Hopefully, we'll be able to do that. Which reminds me, we got to get some more propane for our grill. Uh, but um, but actually having real people over, I'm gonna make some sausage balls. We're gonna have some cheese dip, homemade pretzels. Probably grill out and do deviled eggs. But we're not. We're just, we're doing all this. We're having like two people over. That's it. That's what we always do though when we have get-togethers. Whether it's 4 people or whether it's 30, we make enough food for like double the amount of people that we have there. Right? We don't have to cook for a week. And that'll just be because of all the leftover Halloween candy we're gonna have. Here's UPS. Thank you. I know UPS has got to be running ragged right now. I think everybody is. Holiday season starting up. The real because I know that I'm seeing seasonal people now for the post office and UPS. Yeah, I bet they are. So normally you get to see me doing like the prep work and then sometimes the glazing, and then that's usually all I have time to do. Now I'm doing the glazing, and I'll be doing a lot of the cleanup and the touching up before I actually just load these into the kiln. We're making good time. And a lot of that is the difference in having to like only dip things in one color versus having like 3 or 4 layers and letting things dry between layers and stuff. Paul, yes, we are in southern Kentucky. Some of the blue in the nooks and crannies there, and take it for a swim. Ever feel like leaning into more horsey things? We do the horse things we do are like we do horsehair pots, like with the raku technique. I've never done much with like horse shaped things, but I wouldn't be against it. I've put like horse like different horse drawings on medallions before for horse mugs. But usually, when doing Kentucky themed things, I go more towards leaves or just different textures and just like the shape of Kentucky versus the shape of horses. Yeah, in Lexington, yeah, horses are everywhere. And I found that, like, especially for mugs and drinking vessels, like bourbon themed things tend to sell better for me than horse themed things. But it's when I'm doing shows that are in Kentucky, I'll do some horse mugs. I've got mint julep cups, bourbon cups. Let's see, we did a show up in Lexington every year. It's the Kentucky Sheep and Fiber. That's the times we mainly go up to Lexington. Yeah, we're in southern Kentucky, closer to Nashville, Tennessee. Kind of far away from where everything happens. Meanie. The printer company, yes. You're just walking through inspecting everything, aren't you? There's my inspector. Well, yeah, up in Lexington, you're closer to the mountains and closer to the areas where actually like more of my customers in Kentucky are at, because one of my biggest customers where a lot of this stuff is going is the Berea Artisan Center. Or no, it's the Kentucky Artisan Center in Berea. Where Berea is just I don't know if you'd call it an artist community, but it's where there are a lot of handmade artists just living there and working in that area. It's got a school there, the Berea College. It's where a lot of people go, for handcrafted items. What color of glaze am I doing today? This is the denim blue. This one will end up being a nice dark medium blue, not like a navy, but it's the perfect TARDIS blue. So I'm using it for the police box mugs. I've got three glazes I'm doing today. We did the yellow, I did the gray already, and now I'm doing the blue. I've got like just a few more mugs here. Oh, not that one. We got a crack right there on the handle. Can you see it? This one's better. I didn't make that space so you could sit there, cat. I guess you did. It's the perfect size for me. Will I salvage that? No, I'm not gonna even fire it. I'm just gonna toss it. It is now a therapy pot. Now something like this one, the break where it is right here, if I fired that, it's either going to make a bigger gap because the as it shrinks it's going to open up and be a bigger gap, or it may like warp to one side or the other. So like technically it could still be a usable cup, but it's got a cracked handle. You know, I'm not gonna bother trying to sell that to anybody. And once they've been fired like that, there's really no. I mean, I could use it as a glaze test or something, but I can't really recycle the clay. You're not an avid pottery collector, but you do like going through the mistake bin and picking up some usable treasures. Yes. Now when we go to actual shows, I tend to have a seconds rack where it's sometimes it can be something as simple as the glaze didn't turn out like I wanted it to. So I've got something that maybe was ordered in one color and it turned out wrong, so I can't send it out to them, but I can sell it to somebody else. We got things like that. There's or things that maybe a little bit warped or wonky or, misspelled. I've done that before. So I usually have a discount rack when I go to shows. It's something that I've not really wanted to sell seconds at on the website because it's harder for people to see the flaw. Like when they're in person, I can say, "Here, this is why this is discounted. This is why it's wrong." That way, like I feel like if I do something like that on the website, people are going to be like, "Oh, yay, this is the cheap one. I'm going to get that one." And then, "Oh, hey, it's got a crack in it. I want my money back," and stuff like that. Because no matter how many things we put online, people don't read. So I'm nervous about doing like seconds on the website. You have all these warped mugs, but when you drink out of a good one, it's weird. Yeah. It's like, what's wrong with you? Now you are the warped one. It's like the normal like the cousin on the Munsters. I know that's what my kitchen looks like at home. I have all the wonky pots, all the warped pieces, warped, cracked, glazed tests. People ask me, I'm like, oh, I bet you've got your own like beautiful set of dishes, don't you? I bet your kitchen is wonderful. I'm like, I take home all the duds. I give a home to all of the ugly pots because ugly pots need love too. You're more likely to give a gift of a good piece, yeah. Now I guess I will do like seconds as I find them in the studio and say, hey, I'm about to throw this away. Anybody want it? So, and I've sold several pieces that way. Well, it's like the sheep the other day. I had a sheep and one of its ears was squished, one of the sheep yarn bowls, and someone snatched it up. All right, one more blue thing. Blue thing one, blue thing two, blue thing three. Hey, Looper. Oh, we didn't put any wax on this guy. Yeah, I guess you gotta hang out more. You get first dibs on the seconds. Wax doesn't take very long to dry. It just keeps the glaze from sticking to the bottom there. Sorry if I know that's probably a horrible sound. I'm sorry, but I'm trying to make sure that I don't have any like thick spots on the texture here. Here we go. Because this is a sweater mug. It's got a sweater texture on it. I don't want the glaze to be too thick on that texture. Yeah. Prepay for the seconds. Now everything here that needs a layer of glaze has one layer of glaze. And actually, since I've got the blue here, I might as well keep it out. So this has a layer of blue glaze on it, but you can see where I touched it with the glaze tongs. There's a little vampire mark on the inside and on the outside. You can see those in there. But I need to touch that up. So just put a little glob of glaze on the inside there, covering that back up. That way I won't have a bare spot on the inside of the mug or the outside. And if I did, like, it wouldn't ruin the mug. It would just be cosmetic, but it would look good. You love seconds? Yeah, they remind you that your art doesn't have to be perfect. Yes. Like I said, wonky pots need love too. There we go, and I got some of the glaze drips that were off the bottom and off of the medallion. So this one is actually ready to go into the kiln. You know what? I might as well start loading up a board because I can put these in the kiln. There's nothing stopping me except there might be something in the kiln already. That's only a minor detail. So you struggle with finishing pieces because of the perfect struggle? You mean like not knowing when to stop because you think it needs to be, yeah, like it's not done yet because it's not perfect. I read a really good article about that one point, and I wish I could find this article. It's something I'd like to just print out and have around because it talked about, you know, working on a piece and that like striving for perfection and saying like, every piece is not going to be perfect and every piece will let you grow and learn a little bit to get to the next piece. So let that piece sit and be what it is. Let it be, finish it, call an end to it, figure out what you learned from it, and go on and do something else. It's going to be a perfectly fine, like for me, a perfectly fine pot all by itself. It may not be what you want it to be. You may see the imperfections in it, but you can also see what you learned from it. So just let it be what it is, and then go on to the next piece. And for me, sometimes I have to work through that. Like I have to work through maybe a bad idea, or just get it out of my system, and then I can go on to the next step and learn from it. So you actually started with a major in studio art, yeah. And it helped a lot with being able to say, I have to be okay with not being perfect, yes. And one thing that I struggled with on kind of a similar idea, but on kind of the opposite end, is I would finish things and if they come out of the kiln, imperfect, talking about seconds and stuff, and be like, okay, this is not the way it's supposed to be. This is a second, and I kind of went overboard on preciousness, where when you first start making things, you love everything that you make sometimes because you made it and you know the struggle and you see the struggle that it took to get you to that point, and you see the accomplishment in the piece. But after a while, you end up with a whole lot of ugly pots trying to get to this good pot, and you need to throw them or not keep them all. Well, I went to the kind of the other end of, okay, this is not good enough, so I'm gonna take a hammer to it and not let anybody see it, because I know it's not not good. And would we'd be going to a show, and he's like, well, what are these over here for? And I'm like, oh, those are bad. Those aren't good. And he's like, what's wrong with this? And I'd be like, well, it's not the right glaze color. And he just like packed it up and took it to a show, and it was the first thing that sold. So that also taught me a lesson of, just because I don't like it doesn't mean somebody else might not like it, or somebody else might not see, not everybody's going to see the flaw in it. And it helped me be more, I guess, practical in my decision making and with my pieces. One assignment you did was a mural on a wall in town that anybody could paint on at any time, so it was constantly changing. Hey, Canuck, good afternoon. It's going pretty good. Cleaning up a pieces ready to go into the glaze. It was a space that was often used as a sort of like a billboard space, but that organizations on campus used, like for celebrating birthdays and stuff. Yeah, yeah. I imagine it would be kind of easy for people to get feelings hurt if you paint something on there and then the next week it's gone because somebody else painted over it. But that's part of it, right? Part of the lesson learned in participating. So what I'm doing here is touching up the tongue marks that were kind of like the vampire bites that were left by the glaze tongue because I was dipping these in the glaze. Kira, if you're a request piece, what have you got in mind? Oh, it's nice that people come out and take care of it. An elephant teapot. Shoo. I'll have to look that one up. I'll have to look that one up. Hey, Space Ranger. It is afternoon for us here. It is 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm in southern Kentucky. We are on Central Time. Just touching up these pieces before they go into the kiln. And I've got to layer a couple of ones over there, but very close to Bowling Green. We are in Russellville, Kentucky, so about 30 miles south of Bowling Green. You're in California, but you're from Louisville, yeah. Yep, that's where both me and Daniel went to school, was in Bowling Green. That's where we graduated from. That's where we met. Magic, thank you so much for the resub. And good afternoon. Is humidity a factor? Yes. Yes. So since you know Kentucky weather, it can change from day to day during the same day. But yeah, when during the summer especially, it takes forever for things to dry out. Like usually it takes a good 3 days for things to dry out in here, like even with the AC on. You can control it a little bit, but I can tell and as soon as I get used to that, as soon as I'm relying on, you know, there being a timeline of how long I have to work on something, then the weather's going to change and everything dries out in like 3 hours. Excuse me. And so I can handle humidity. I can handle the dryness. I just wish, I could rely on one or the other. So Magic, I don't know if I've talked to you since I looked at the Beauty and the Beast fabric. That stuff, it is gorgeous. I love it because I love stained glass. Like, how big would you say that panel is that you put a picture of? How big are the actual pieces? So I'm wondering if parts of that would make a good apron. If you have any left. I know you said that was a popular print. Right? Like today, well, just the past couple weeks, you know what it's like in fall in Kentucky. The bottom's about to drop out. We've been, pleasantly. I'm wearing short sleeves, pleasantly in the 50s, maybe up into 60, but really like just crisp, comfortable weather. But I think tomorrow we're gonna be like with a wind chill of 33 or something. Okay, 12 to 16 inches repeated. Okay, then it might be too small. Then it might be like you said, too the print's too big for a face mask, but too small for a maybe too small for an apron. Ooh. You know what? See, that would be pretty too. The Harry Potter stained glass. I think it's not blown up as much as everything else. I think people that wanted to get upset about it. Some people are very righteously upset about it. What I've seen is more people are upset about it who maybe didn't like Harry Potter in the first place. But like I was kind of worried that some of my Harry Potter stuff might not, sell as well. Like, okay, am I just gonna have to like scrap some of that if it's not gonna sell anymore? But it's been fine. I mean, look at all the stuff I'm making right now. there's not been as big of a backlash as I've seen, or as it could have been, you know. Because I think on for me, like it's okay to be hurt and not agree with an author's viewpoints, but I don't think those viewpoints were expressed in the Harry Potter books. And you know, I'm always gonna have I'm always gonna enjoy the books for what they are. But that's just me. Another Doctor Who mug. No, Magic. That's actually the first I heard of it when the actors were standing up and saying, you know, we do not all feel like this. I hadn't seen that. The actors banded together to read the books on Spotify. Hadn't seen that. I've seen there's been a lot of groups of people who've gotten together to do it for different fundraisers to do, you know, to do live like Facebook reads of a book or a play or whatever for different fundraising events. So it may have just been another one of those. All right. Now I do have to go grab a few things out of the kiln. I know there's some stuff still in there. We've got some green yarn bowls, the Misty Forest, which is the kind of the light green over the dark green. And that one says the Green Dragon Inn on it. Yeah, that one did look like fun. I wonder if you can go back and rewatch some of those. The Princess Bride one specifically. Now, we were talking about seconds and how things sometimes don't turn out the way I want them to. This one, trying to find a proper, like, example of this glaze. This was supposed to be the stormy skies. Like, here's this. This is the stormy skies, the way it's supposed to be. Gray with a blue flash on top. I'm going to be doing some of these in this load. That's what I want it to be. Danarito the Burrito, thank you for the follow. This is what came out of my kiln that was supposed to be that. There's no blue there at all. It's like this dull greenish, ugly gray at the top. So, I'm I have an idea of what happened, but I'm not sure. This was like I was almost out of this glaze. I was using the what was on the very bottom of the bucket for the blue part that was on top, and I'm thinking I just got like I just got a different color. It was all that was left in the bottom of the bucket, and it just was not enough of the right colorants left, so it became green instead of blue. Yeah, collector's edition variants. Yeah, so this poor thing, like I'm not gonna fire it again because it did drip quite a bit. But I've got two more over here that had glaze on them. I'm gonna chip the glaze off of it and redo them. But yeah, so that's not what I expected it to be at all. So this may be up on the website or the seconds page. They put it on the website because I mean there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not the color it's supposed to be. Call it mystery color. I'm gonna take these over there. I'm just setting these guys carefully in the kiln. There's, I think, 14 of these. Yeah, 14. And I can fit roughly 25 or so per layer. Sometimes 27 mugs. And then I'll put 4 layers in this kiln. Yes, we do. We have lotion soap dispensers. If you look on the website, search, I think, for bottles is what we call them because you can choose then to have, you purchase the bottle and then you can choose to have it be an oil dispenser or a lotion pump. These guys are dry. I'm going to get out the sea spray and do a layer of that on some of these. Doing my heavy lifting because these are both full buckets. Still need this, just need to move it out of the way for a second. The saving lives. That's things that say I knit so I don't kill people. I think Daniel did that because they're not necessarily like not safe for work, but the word kill will get you flagged on a lot of Google searches and such. So it's all the kill people mugs. We are saving lives. You're saving lives by doing your craft and not going off on everybody. Four. There's. Um, we've been pretty steady with internet orders this year because that's basically the only way we're able to sell things. So I can't tell with holiday orders yet. We will announce a Christmas cutoff and kind of see how this next month goes. See when we have to do that. We normally do get a good, healthy amount of holiday orders. A lot of what I'm doing right now is wholesale, which could be counted as holiday orders because they want some stock for the holidays. This is the stuff that made that ugly green. Kind of scrape that top layer off. Might as well on the inside too. Whew, getting a lovely sound. Lovely sound. We'll see what that does. Did I have a lot of internet orders before COVID? Well, yes, I would say we did. It's just not to the volume that we have now. Our website took orders, but we would do more of going to shows in person. So I look at it as a different type of retail sales. We have wholesale versus retail, and most of our retail sales came from in-person sales. Now, they're all online. So where we did do online sales, we've over doubled our online sales this year, but we don't have any in-person sales to balance that out with. Yeah, normally our online sales were largest, around the holidays. That's when we would get a lot of our online sales. Are y'all hearing this horribleness? If you are, I'm sorry. A lot of places had to shut down completely, yes. We were lucky that we already had everything set up for online already. We didn't have to rush to get an online website or rush to set up a Twitch stream. We already had an online presence, and that's really helped us. Is everything a final sale, or do I have gift receipts? Everything's pretty much final because everything's made to order. And I'm not, I'm not Amazon, and I'm really not gonna normally trust people to mail things back to me. Yeah, so no exchanges on the handmade items. I should use a less offensive word like I knit so I don't strangle people. Right. Let's be more specific. I knit so I don't garrote people. I knit so I don't stab people. There was one I made for a felter that said, I stab wool so I don't stab people. Or I have a writer friend who I made a George R. R. Martin mug for. It says, I write so I can kill people. You're interested in teapots? Sill stars, you got a Yixi, I don't know how to say that, but a teapot. What's popular about them? What makes that teapot special? Is it a certain shape? Police box mug. We need one that says, please ignore my internet search history. I'm just a writer. Oops, didn't touch this one up. Oh, the side handle? I've made those before. For me, it seems like it makes it easier to pour. It's more natural pour. Do most have a tea strainer built in? It depends. I don't tend to do a tea strainer on mine, but it's very easy to do. It's just poke holes in it. For me, it's hard to like make sure those holes are not going to be filled in with glaze. So I tend to just make a bigger hole. I always thought they'd be fairly hard to just clean with all those little holes. Like here's one of mine. So swirly teapot with handle, and you can see the hole for the spout in there. It's just a hole. Well, remember, anything like right now that's been bisque fired is going to shrink. That's actually it's going to hold around 4 cups. So I don't know if that's really big or not. It's not. I guess it could be a one-person teapot. It'll hold about 4 cups when it's fired. Yeah, like the mugs are going to shrink about a half inch altogether. I don't know if you can really see. Like I need to put them side by side so you can see how much they change. But one's bigger than the other. When's the next throwing stream? Probably, possibly tomorrow. I might be doing a couple hours of throwing in the morning because we're going to be doing the Virtual Fiber Festival, so I may do that. So it may not be a lot of throwing, but that's what my thoughts are right now. Besides that, I'm not going to be doing like full big throwing days probably for another week. Because we were going to be doing the Virtual Fiber Festival on Sunday, but we got moved to Saturday. So we might be doing Saturday morning pottery. Oh, I was showing the difference between a bisque fired piece and a finished piece, how much they shrink. 3 more of these blue ones. Now, one thing I'm going to try to avoid is putting any of the yellow pieces next to the blue pieces. You've been using your machines to do a quilt for a birthday gift tomorrow, but now you need it. Oh, is Colleen getting some of the Star Wars ones? Yeah, one thing I notice about these glazes is the blue likes to leave a shadow on pieces that are next to it. If I put like this blue next to a piece that's white or yellow or even orange, some of the very lighter colors, it will, like, there'll be a little blue shadow next to it. And all glazes kind of like they bubble up. So when a glaze melts, it bubbles up and then it settles back down and smooths down. And so this one must bubble up a lot to leave a mark on another piece. I don't have any other dark glaze that does that, just the blue one for some reason. So I've got to be careful and not put the yellow ones next to the blue ones unless I want them to be green. Which might be an interesting effect if I wanted it to happen that way, but I don't. All right. Of course, I clean the brush and see somewhere else I want to touch up. There we go. So I think I'll grab some of the gray ones, which I'll need to get the gray back out, and bring it over here to touch these up. So where's my lid? I think I put the blue lid on the, yep, I put the blue lid on the sea spray. She's getting one of the Vader and one of the Star Wars sugar skulls. Yes. So use the same brush. These guys, I love these brushes. These are my favorite brushes to use, and they're super cheap. I get them at big box craft stores. We have a Hobby Lobby in the next town. I get these things, but they're the horsehair brushes. And the bristles fall out. They're cheap. They're not super expensive, but I'm not good to them either. But I love the way they make marks. You can load them up with glaze, or you can make really fine detail work with them. And this one keeps coming out, and it's probably not supposed to do that, but Need to get some more of them. Yeah, they hold a lot of water, yeah. Got several of these the Sherlock Holmes mugs. Yeah, they're usually inexpensive. Actually, some of them are like super expensive. When I try to search for them, like I guess I find really good ones, and then they're super expensive. I get these for these are like $1 a piece, and then like one did it just falls apart fairly easily. I can fish out the bristles. There we go. Look, I got room for one more over there. Sometimes the cheaper no-name brand is better than the expensive ones. Yeah. We'll put these in the kiln, and then I may come back and layer another color. So we got 26 on that layer. Now, where would I be if I was a white glaze? Nope. For some of the pieces over here that have the Game of Thrones dire wolf on them, I'm going to use the new glaze, the winter mix. So the white over the gray. And then I've got one piece over here that needs to be denim and white. Oh, there went the brush. Do I have a finished version of the winter mix? Yes. Let me go grab it. Just shipped the majority of them off, but I had one extra that I didn't send. It is the gray with the white on top, but the white actually likes it. You have some white dots or white thicker spots, but some places it turns blue. So that's the winter mix. And we made these for the Fiber Seed. That's their logo in the center. Are doing a advent calendar gift box. And our mugs are part of that gift box, and so we made the glaze for them. They asked if we could do a white over gray, and I said this is what it looks like. Whoa, glad there wasn't anything on that. It is different than the Stormy Skies. Stormy Skies, winter mix. Winter mix is more white. Kuka, hello. Good afternoon. I am actually glazing. I'm adding color to the pots by dipping them in different layers. This one has gray on it already. I'm going to dip it in white, and the white is going to end up turning a little bit blue on the top. And then as these dry out, I'm putting some other mugs in the kiln that are already dried. I think I'll do 6 of these in the winter mix and just have 6 of them just be solid gray. And then I've got the bowl that needs to be denim and white. And that's all I needed that for. Okay, and I've got these guys that are the solid gray. Just touching up some of the spots that didn't get covered with glaze where I was holding it with the tongs. Making sure everything gets filled in. And then there's a little bit of glaze that it gets stuck to the bottom or drips onto the bottom. I'm just going to wipe that off. And then clean up the drips that are on the medallion. And put that on the cart to be taken over to the kiln. Or on the board to be taken over to the kiln. See, this one had a little bit more drips on the bottom. And then tonight, these are going to be fired up to 2232 degrees Fahrenheit in an electric kiln. And I should be able to open them up. Depending on how early I get this started, I could open it up tomorrow afternoon, but most likely it'll be Sunday morning when I open this up and get everything out. So I hope everybody's having a good Friday. Hope that for most of you, your day's almost over. It's almost 5 o'clock here. 6 p.m. there, yeah, hour ahead of me. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. That's on Sunday, isn't it? It is. So Saturday night. So Halloween night, we have to turn the clocks back. I'd forgotten all about that. I've seen so many memes where they're like, yeah, so all this the pandemic started during the spring forward in early March, and so many people say, yay, we're gonna hit the reset button. Maybe it'll all go away. Ooh, making cheesecake too. Yeah, have a good night, Magic. We'll see you later. You're right. We don't need an extra hour of this year. Oh, one more. One more. Right, and then I got this one, which is it's the white over the gray, and that is the new winter mix. So the white will blend a little bit with the gray and be blue, and then where it gets drippy, there'll be some actual white there. That's why I call it a winter mix. Texas Hula, hello. Good afternoon. Yeah, welcome to the studio, everybody, and happy Friday. I am touching up some of these pieces with glaze so they can go into the kiln tonight. Get all warm and toasty up to 2232 degrees. Then we'll be able to open this on Sunday. I know. At least it didn't sink to the bottom. Didn't have to go fishing. Fit two more on this board, and I've got to actually see if I can put another layer in there because I need to check on my kiln shelves. I may have to put a new layer of kiln wash on them. So here we have a stark dire wolf. This is Winter is Coming. But I hope everybody's got all their favorite Halloween candy picked out. Because even if you're not doing trick or treating this year, this might be the best year because you could buy the candy and just eat it all yourself, whether you've got trick or treaters or not. I'm thinking about just putting out the cheap candy for the kids because we're just putting the candy cauldron at the end of the driveway and keeping all the peanut butter cups and Kit Kats for myself. Because that's what we normally do is we have a big candy cauldron full of candy and we snack on it while playing board games and waiting for trick-or-treaters to come. But if we're putting the big bucket of candy outside, then we don't get to snack on it. We don't get to pick through all the pieces that we want. I mean, it probably is better for us that way, right? Probably is better for us. Alright, I gotta put some kiln furniture in here, so you're probably gonna hear some horrific noises, but it's just me putting kiln shelves in here. Or moving around the kiln stilts. Alright, this shelf's not too bad. Yeah, maybe it is. It's not looking too good. Yeah, I have to start scraping some kiln shelves. Get them cleaned off so that they won't stick. Because I had some really runny things in this last firing. And I've got to scrape the blobs of glaze off of the kiln, off of the shelf, so that it doesn't melt and stick to a fresh piece when I put it in there. You wait till the day after when all the candy is half off. Yes, cheap candy day. That's the best holiday. We've got a couple. You get a couple of those every year, right? Day after Valentine's Day, day after Halloween, day after Easter. Except that usually all that's left by the time I get there, like after Halloween, would be candy corn. Yeah, some places already have the Christmas candy out. There it is. I'm gonna do another layer of the sea spray on the like 6 pieces that I had sea spray on. Why won't you roll? There we go. Remember the orange wrapped toffee from the 90s? It wasn't it the stuff that had like peanut butter in the center and then like some type of caramelly stuff on the outside? That's what I remember. Is that what everybody talks about as like the least favorite Halloween candy ever? I actually liked it because it was peanut butter. Is that what you're talking about? Just toffee and caramel? Okay, I don't know about that then. Just soft chews. Yeah, toffee, the stuff that's so sticky that will like pull out a tooth, I've never been a fan of. It's almost like a fight to try to eat it. But I like caramels. Caramels, caramels. Let's start that fight. They were the bane of trick or treating. How dare the free candy not be good enough? Yeah, they toughen. Yeah, they toughened your jaws definitely. Now I'm really wanting some Halloween candy. Maybe it's time for supper. I've still got a little bit. Um, I need to add some water to my kiln wash. So I'm gonna do that. Let it soak up, and I may just like touch up the rest of these pieces and put them in the kiln when I get back. What was it that Daniel had a piece of taffy? What are the different types of taffy? It wasn't a now and later. There's now and laters. There's Starburst. There's like the Laffy Taffies. There's one that's like a sugar daddy. Remember those? Daniel, my husband, lost a crown with one of those. Pulled it right out. What makes it worse is we were at an amusement park. We were actually at Disney World for the Mickey's Not So Scary. They even do that this year? I think I saw they were doing Christmas stuff. I don't know if they're doing that. They did that this year, but we went one year, many years ago, and it's you trick or treat. You get candy in front of every ride. You get a big bag, go around, getting candy and eating it, all throughout the park. It's great. See all the characters in their Halloween costumes and get special pictures and stuff. And they have like limited attendance, so they limit the ticket count so that it's not overcrowded, which is a good reason to go to them. But everything's Halloween themed, and so we were on Splash Mountain eating candy as you do because it's not like a until the end. It's a very calm ride, and in the middle of the ride, going up the hill, he lost a crown while eating a piece of candy. I'm like, well, don't swallow it. Hold on to it. Well, hello, Trix. Hmm. What are you doing? Like, excuse me, I want more of a head scratch than that. You know what? I don't remember what we did. I don't think there was all that much of the ride left. He kept it, I remember. Whoop. Oh no, Splash Mountain stopped where as you were just about to go down the mountain and you were stuck. Oh no, for like an hour at the worst possible spot. Oh no. Ooh. So that had to be like when was that? What year was that? Because the 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea hasn't been there for years. It wasn't there when I worked there. The the guts of the ride was still there, but I've never seen it operational at Disney World. Have gotten to ride it at Disneyland. Of course, now everything's different. Early 90s. So I bet you remember the Skyway, where you could go from like Fantasyland to Future, not Fantasyland, but like Frontierland to Futureland on those little like gondola things before they took them down because they were dangerous. And now they've put them back in different areas. Yeah, you were only there once, but you remember, yeah. The safari ride, the Jungle Cruise. The Jungle Cruise is the best, and they change it up for Halloween. Not Halloween, but they might do it for Halloween. But they also do a Christmas version where they do tell Christmas jokes. Love the Jungle Cruise. My favorite ride will probably always be Splash Mountain. I know they're redoing it, they're updating it, so it's going to be something different. It's going to be something from The Princess and the Frog, I think. I love Splash Mountain and Big Thunder Mountain. One of them, I think one of the prettiest rides is one of the older ones. The Peter Pan ride is just it's very pretty. I love the way they do it. It's a very simple ride. Um, and Space Mountain. I mean, Space Mountain is classic. Now, and that's where I worked. I worked at the Magic Kingdom, so like I have gotten to see the Magic Kingdom in several different stages because I remember being there. I would work there. I worked in several different areas, but you would, as a college student, work there, get off work, go ride some rides, and then go home. So it's like you get to experience the park without like the anxiety of having to pay for it all. Oh, funny. I don't remember that. Yep, they have a program called the Disney College Program, and it's an internship you can do. You have to be enrolled in college, and you can take like hospitality classes. If you're going into the hospitality industry, I mean, it's perfect. No better place to train. But you can do an internship there and go and work at the parks and get experience, and while still being enrolled in college. And that's the internship I did, and and if you do it once, you're going to be either like rides or food service. If you go back and do it a second or third time, then you can do more, you can get more specialized into what your major is. So if I'd done it a third or fourth time, I might have gotten in more into the arts side of it, but I just did it once. That's how me and Daniel met, or what got us to start talking for the first time because we both did the college program. So yeah, so Disney is very special to me with all its flaws, you know. Hey, Spook. Good afternoon. Oh yeah, you got to go when you were a kid. Yeah, I went for the very first time when I'm not too much older. I was like 14, I think, because I got to go with a school trip. Where even though I was from Tennessee, we our marching band competed in a contest. We actually won. So we got to go to one park while we were down there, and I went to Magic Kingdom. And because we won, we got to go back like 2 years later. So I got to go twice when I was in high school as part of a band trip. Oh yes, yeah, you had a really long way to travel. Oh yeah, boys, mom, they had that. Yeah, the senior nights. They would always do like in the spring and fall, which are technically the slow seasons. That's what they would do a lot. You could different places could rent out the parks at night. And they may have been different then, but that's what they do now. What they did when I was there, whether it was for a like a corporate event or you know or they did the senior nights and stuff. They closed the park at like 7 or 8 and let people stay till like 2 or 3 in the morning. I remember one time because I worked in the Magic Kingdom and was closing, and after like everybody had left the park, somebody had rented out. I guess somebody rented out the park, but they had like Cinderella's coach like just walked down to the castle. They lit up the castle again, and Cinderella's coach like with horses with like six white horses went like you know rolling down Main Street with somebody in it, and it was a proposal. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to think about what that costs. Sure, we'll turn the lights back on for you. Here I am taking out the trash. Yeah, right. I hope he was pretty sure she was gonna say yes. Oh, yeah. As a kid, you were bawling as you were leaving. I'm sure there's tons of that. I'm sure there is. Oh yeah, it's even more fun as an adult because you know you can go do what you want to do. Gatorland. Never went to Gatorland. Gatorland. Oh no, your oldest was got so worked up because y'all were leaving. Oh no. Oh wow, yeah. You were at Kansas City, like probably like a Six Flags or something. Now I'm not a huge fan of like big roller coasters, like mostly because I'm afraid of heights. So if I'm gonna ride a big roller coaster, I usually take my glasses off because I don't want to lose them. But I don't open my eyes. Like I can handle roller coasters that are in the dark much better because it's the heights that I'm afraid of, not necessarily the loop de loops. But for years I would not try to get on a roller coaster. I'm like, nope, 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 nope. Hello. Ooh, what a yawn. Of course, around here, we growing up, we had Opryland, which was where we always went for school trips and stuff for something like that. That's been gone since the mid '90s. Oh, wooden roller coasters that we have. Holiday World is somewhere around here. I don't think it's actually in Kentucky, but those they have old wooden roller coasters, and those things will beat the crap out of you. I cannot do those. One of them, especially that it was called like the Raven or something. That's supposed to be. I mean, it was a fine roller coaster, but the cars they put you in are really not meant for adults. Seriously, like my knees were like touching the front of the car, and so it beat me to death because all they put a little bar down on your lap and you're sliding around and hitting everything. Yeah, you can hear all the creaking and cracking. Yeah. It's funny for me to go back, like, because I've been, going to Disney World on and off since I did my internship in 2002. So we've been going back off and on, and it's always funny to me sometimes when I see an innovation that's specifically done for safety, and you're like, oh, yeah, that was a good idea. I remember, yeah, that could have been bad. It's like I remember the safety bars when that's all they're. Oh dear. Hi. Hey. Yeah. Are you wanting some pets? Huh? Hey. Oh, there's a purr. That's a purr. Hey. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is somebody proud of themselves? Whew. You know what? She did not. I don't think I'm bleeding. I don't think she didn't hold on as bad as all that. Oh my goodness, cat. Mm-hmm. Whew. You just gonna sit there? You you just gonna sit there and purr, aren't you? She's like, I bet you'll pay attention to me now. So you're not gonna ignore me now. No, she's very mad. I won't let her outside. Hmm. Come here. Right there. Okay. Come here. I'll hold you like this. Come on. Yeah. There we go. I guess I'm wearing the perfect shirt for this today. I'm wearing my Dex Bonus Cat Gang shirt. I don't even remember what I was saying. I don't remember what I was saying at all. Space Rangers. I'm glad my call ended for this. That's the first time she's ever done that. Minnie will do that. Like Minnie will do that badly and make you bleed. And Tux, of course, he was very cuddly, so he would jump on you. But it's the first time she's ever done it. Mhm. I'm sorry, girl, if I've been ignoring you. I know you can go outside next week, maybe. And by that time it'll be cold and you won't want to go outside. Whew. I was talking about safety additions to the rides. Uh, cuddles have been demanded. Cuddles have been demanded. Like one of the safety additions I remember, like on the Tower of Terror. Someone asked me my favorite ride. My favorite ride of all the parks is Tower of Terror. That's my favorite one. And I remember being on that, riding the ride when I was in college, and there was a lap bar to hold you down. So there was a lap bar to hold down four people. And at that point, I was skinny. Okay? So the skinny person on a lap bar gets the raw deal because your rear end's gonna leave the ground because it's one of those that it's an elevator drop, which is cool if you like the ride, which I did. So you just make sure you hold on and hold on to all your stuff so you don't slip out. But I can see how that's really really bad if you're like a little kid and there's somebody a large adult next to you. You could like fly out. So I understand why they put seat belts on it now, but that's one I remember noticing. Whew. Right. Kiba. Whew. I wouldn't be able to move if Kiba did it. Listening to what people say before and then while you're dropping is hilarious. Yeah, you mean the screams? Whew. How is it a safe thing to happen? You know what? She didn't dig her claws in. She did that safely. She I don't know, y'all probably could see it better than me how long she like measured, how long she thought about it before she did it. One of our friends had a phobia of elevators. That's why Daniel's bringing it up. She did. She went on it. She went on the ride with us because she wanted a picture of all of our friends group together on the ride, but she was crying. She was crying, but we were like, "You don't have to." But she's like, "I want the picture." So she did. Yeah. Hmm. There you go. You're proud of yourself. I think this is what I was working on at the time. You were never able to get on it. Oh, you were having a panic attack. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's not the ride I would recommend if you really are afraid of elevators. Or if you don't like that dropping sensation. She's like, I just wanted the cuddles. Oh, really, Leonie? That was you can come at 6 o'clock. You can come, now. I was gonna take a break at 6. Tower of Terror was the last thrill ride you went on before you decided you were done riding roller coasters for good. Oh no. So that is my favorite one. And now they've got it where it's I think you can have up to what 10 or 14 drops. It's random every time. So every time you ride it, it's supposed to be different. I know that makes it probably sound worse. Like, yeah, I want to do 14. I want all of them. Guardians of the Galaxy version is better. I would then, yeah, it's except it's closed right now. Mary Rose, thank you. This was made by Underground Man. Trying to be festive. I've never done one of those like bungee. I've never done like gone like bungee jumping or anything. I'm not gonna do that. No. Remember, I'm afraid of heights. So the other things I have to do is do the same thing with the yellow pieces here. I've got to touch those up. And on some of these bowls, these are gray on the inside. They're going to have black polka dots on the outside. So, well, that came in a little bit too fast. Oh, really? Yeah. I would not be surprised. So I'm putting polka dots on the bottom. I'm dividing the base into quarters, and then I will divide that into thirds, and then follow this pattern up the bowl. So it'll be gray on the inside with black polka dots on the outside on a white background. And the white is just going to be the raw color of the clay and texture. So there's going to be a tactile difference too, which I really like. And I do this all by eye, so they're not going to be like, it's not going to be a completely perfect pattern, but it's close. So should I put one more row up there? Let's see. That'll be good. Which one? A clear floor? There's where was that at? Where'd we go? We went in Chicago one time. Well, when Chicago had it was still the Sears Tower, we went up to the top of the Sears Tower where you could walk out and look down. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Here we go. So we have a polka dotted bowl. And I got a couple more of those to do. Ooh. I've got 3 of these to do. Now, I think I can do a ski lift, just a ride kind of looking around, kind of like the gondolas and stuff. And I remember when working at the factory, like one of the jobs you had to do was operate cranes, and I could operate the cranes because you get into the cab on the ground and you go up and then you operate the crane. Though there was one where you had to like walk all the way to the ceiling on a rickety staircase, and that like I remember several times having to just like stop and sit on this staircase and work up the nerve to like go higher. Yeah, they've this year because we went in January before everything hit. And they have brought back the gondolas, but not in the parks. They've got the gondola systems that will go between some of the parks and between some of the resorts to help alleviate the buses and stuff. I think they call it. Do they call it the Sky Trams? Or I forget what it was actually called. But instead of building another monorail system, they did that. You love the little Halloween helper back there. Yeah, but I need to keep an eye on her to see if she's gonna jump on me again. See, she lost her collar with the bell on it. If she had her collar with the bell, I might have had warning, but then it probably wouldn't have been as funny. Yeah, sneak cuddle attack. Yeah. No, she did. Yeah, she jumped on me. I wasn't paying attention at all because I'm not used to her doing that. Oh, my goodness. You grabbed a screenshot for your roommate? Yeah, we'll have to go back and like make a highlight. You grabbed a screenshot. Yay. And the best thing is that she didn't even have to use claws. Like, she didn't hurt me. Like, there's a video, like, from. Honestly, it's about this time last year. From, where Minnie did the same thing to me. She came, except she jumped from the ground and just scaled my back when I was back here and, like, climbed up onto my shoulder. And she hurt me. She did. And she's not that big. I had one drip a little bit over here. Let's fix this. Yeah, and then she just sat on my shoulder, on my back. Yeah, just purred. She's like, yay. I gotta figure out how to do this and get more pets. I'm letting this little dot, one little dot dry, and not hoping it won't run. There we go. We got another polka dotted gray bowl, and then I touch up the yellow ones, and we'll have a full kiln load here. And it is 5:59. I told Hamster I'd be done around 6 o'clock, so I think it's time to take a supper break. We're going to go have some tomato basil soup with grilled cheese tonight, and do some cleaning. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later, and have a happy Halloween, everybody. If I'm back tomorrow, it'll be in the morning, because tomorrow is Hamster's birthday. So guys, have a good weekend if I don't see you again. And have a good night. Ooh, salmon. I think yours is going to be better. Don't know where my phone is. Oh, there it is. There it is. Found it. All right. Have a good night, everybody.